every life. The wisdom she holds is like no other, bringing together every sister and brother. She extends peace and love through collab and grow. Her weekly connection, so now you know. Join the tribe on the live, she got something to say, bringing healing the body each and every day. She's got something special, yeah, the queen is the vibe, dropping wisdom in the group on every live. Queen Alchemy is gifted, yes, she'll fight for you when she feels compelled to stand up for the truth. She's strong in her stance with poise and grace, giving back to her community in every way. Queen Alchemy, now you know her name. One moment in a tribe, no, you won't be the same. Sharing wisdom, she's the queen, dropping knowledge on everything. Join Queen Alchemy, she's the vibe, sending peace and love on every live. With the knowledge and the tribe, hail to the queen, Queen's Alchemy.
Peace, 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 peace. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. I want to thank you all for being here. Welcome to our first collective build panel discussion. It's going to be hosted right here, as y'all know, on Queen's Alchemy. I'm so grateful and excited to have you all with us today. And we're going to get started in just a moment. Just trying to let the chat come in a little bit. Let's see what we got going on here. I can see people in the building. All right, let's go. All right, so now let's go ahead and continue. And give me one moment. All right. So the collective bill is something very special to me. I want everybody to know this is my baby right here. Okay. It's about coming together as creators, as people, and building intentionally through real conversations. Here, we're focusing on wellness, growth, and transformation, not just individually, but collectively. That's what makes it such a great thing that we're going to come together as a collective mind. This series here is about sharing what we practice in real life, how we heal, how we grow, and how we build stronger and healthier communities from the inside out. Today's build, we're going to be centered around the foundation, a healthy mindset, because we know without the mind, everything else is nothing. We're going to be talking about how we nurture it, how we protect it, and how we rebuild it when life challenges us. Now, first, y'all know what I like to do. I like to give a big, big welcome to all my amazing creators here on the panel for joining me today. In this chat, in the chat, I want you to snap it up for them by putting up green hearts in the chat, and make sure that you're welcoming them into the onto the panel. And we're going to start by having each panelist introduce themselves and share just a little bit about, who they are, where the channel, what the channel is, or what their work is all about, right? About their channel and what their work is all about. After the introductions, we're going to dive into some thought-provoking topics and conversations around today's theme. And we will be participating and I will also be participating in the build as well. So I won't just be the host, but I'll be a participant as well. Okay. And this is an open and honest and uplifting space. So feel free just to jump in from the chat, share your thoughts and build with us. And I will be checking the pulse of the chat as we go along and answering any questions that you may have. So I really appreciate you tapping in today. And this is an open and honest and uplifting space. So let's go ahead and jump in and get started. Now, 1 second before we do, because y'all know I got 6 people here on the panel with me. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you all. I know that each of you brings something powerful and unique to the table. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start to pass the mic so that they can introduce themselves, share a little bit about their platform, and then as they do so, I'll be dropping their links in the chat, so that you can go ahead and connect with them. Make sure you check out their content and their channel. And first, we're going to get started with Coach Sherry. Would you tell us a little bit about yourself, please? Coach Sherry?
She's muted.
Oh, okay. She's still muted?
Does it say I'm muted?
Now we
I can hear you.
Nope, you're muted.
Can you hear
Okay.
me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Queens Alchemy, for having me on this panel. I'm so excited to just hear more, learn more, and share more. But my channel is about workforce development, entrepreneurship, career readiness, real life, real issues, and real talk. I help people that are stuck to get unstuck within their careers, within their business, and just to see life in a bigger way and see themselves as an integral part to it. So mind shift, mindset is all about that. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And
Mhm.
we have Coach Ming Reen. Would you go ahead and introduce yourself as well?
Good evening, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. First, respect to the host, Miss Queen's Alchemy. Thank you so much for having me and the rest of the panel here. It's really exciting for all of us to come together. I'm really excited to hear what everyone has to say. So I am Coach Mean Reen, and I'm all, I'm all about fitness and fun. I like to bring fitness in a real way, and my goal is for every person to incorporate fitness into their lifestyle, no matter how it is. I'll bring it to your house if you want, if you come to my classes. And I also bring it to your screens every day at 7 a.m. First thing in the morning, you're going to click on and see my shining face to bring you a word of the day right here on YouTube. So that's kind of what my channel is about. It's about empowerment. It's about consistency. And I show that through what I talk about and also through action. Yeah, and that's it.
Let's go. All right. And we have Lala, the high vibe coach.
That's spectacular. Mean Ring consistency coach. I'm right there with you on the fitness level, but I do more so of I'm a juicing, a hydration enthusiast. I do more of a nutrition style coaching on my channel and encourage people to be consistent, doing one healthy vibration at a time to build a lifestyle.
All right.
Hola, ¿qué pasando aquí?
And we have Rooted in Essential Oils.
Hey, hey,
They call
hey,
it
everyone.
famous.
So, as you may know, I am famous or rooted or the oil man or AKA, there's just so many names that people call me. But I'm all about health and wellness and just educating more on the natural side of using plant-based products, whether it's essential oils, supplements. I also recently just started doing fitness myself, so started that journey this year. And I also do healthy eating. I'm also a chef, so I do a little bit of everything, and just like to showcase that on my channel and just let you know that there are better ways to live your life, no matter what lifestyle you have. So that's what I'm about. And thank you for having me, Queen. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you.
And Miss Mind Journey 24/7. Let's go. What you got for us?
Hello, 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 everyone. Thank you, Queen, for having me on here and everybody on the panel too, as well. My name is T, and my channel is Mind Journey 24/7, as she stated. There is where you get to travel with me through my ADHD lifestyle. So, anyone who knows anything about ADHD, they understand that it is a hard thing to live with. So, living with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder is something that requires sometimes extreme measures just to maintain balance. So on my channel, what you'll see is whatever I am focusing on at the time to try to maintain balance and a healthy lifestyle. So right now, my focus is eating and consumption. and that can go so many different directions, whether it is what you are consuming on a spiritual level, what you are consuming on a physical level, what you're eating. So on my channel, I have a lot of recipes right now that are healthy recipes, because I believe that just because you're healthy doesn't mean things have to be boring and bland. So that's what's on my channel right now. So I went through a health journey and I lost about 140 pounds. So I am maintaining that by any means possible. So, of course, like I said, I am ADHD. So you're going to get a little bit of this, a little bit of that along the way. But my channel is focused on showing people that you can find a way to maintain your health even through some mental limitations.
That is awesome. Thank you so much, everyone, for sharing that about you and your channel and your journey here on YouTube. Make sure that you're connecting with them. I dropped all the links into the chat. And I appreciate everyone who's joining the chat and joining the live at this time. So I thank you again for being here and sharing that information. And it's already such a good energy in this space already. Just I can feel it just based on those descriptions of their channel and who they are, right? We can feel that, right? And so before we dive into conversation today, real quick, just for anyone new, I'm the Queen, and this is Queen's Alchemy. I would like to share a little about what Queen Alchemy is about. Here, we build, we heal, we grow together. It's all about the mind, body, and spirit connection over here, right? So when I think Queen's Alchemy, I think building stronger minds and bodies and communities together. I think gathering authentic souls and healing together, learning and rising collectively. That's why I built this. I built this panel here that we can come together collectively. And today we're going to be leaning into mindset and wellness because its foundation is everything we create in our lives. Okay. So, what we're going to do is go ahead and get started. As I mentioned to you, if you weren't here in the chat, make sure that y'all, snapping it up by putting in the green hearts for our panelists today. And that's how we're going to show appreciation today with green hearts. Every time you feel an appreciation for a comment, something they say, something we do, let's drop those green hearts in the chat. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and let's get started. I'm excited to hear your thoughts and share a little bit of my own too as we're going through. As I mentioned, I will be participating. And first up, we're going to be talking about what a healthy mindset looks like for you. And as I told y'all earlier, we're not going to be going in no particular order. So don't think you know when I'm going to call on your name because you're not going to know. But I know y'all going to give some great responses. So this first one here, everyone's going to answer each one of them. I'm going to start with Coach Mean Ring.
Hello. Oh, so this go. Okay. So what does a healthy mindset look like?
Mm-hmm.
Well, a healthy mindset, what does that look like for me? For me, it looks like consistency, showing up for myself, and making myself a priority. I think I say this all the time. I think especially I can speak for myself as a Black woman. I think women, particularly women, I'm not going to be able to say certain words because I'm nervous. So don't mind me. Okay. Women have a really difficult time because we're conditioned to take care of everybody else. So when you're shifting how you think about your own health and wellness, it's important to change that and start to think about taking care of yourself first and not looking at that as being selfish. Because then when you think that it's selfish, then you start to second guess yourself, and we don't want that, and then that causes stress. We don't want the stress. So just shifting how you think about your own self-care and how important it is to take care of yourself.
All right, give me no green hearts. Snap it up there for Coach Mean Ring. Thank you so much for a great response. You're absolutely right when it comes down to not being looking at it as being selfish. That's the way I look at it as well, because you gotta take care of you. Next, we're gonna have rooted in essential oils. Same question.
So for me, I think a healthy mindset is eating healthy, because if you don't have a healthy eating lifestyle, then your brain is going to be fogged. You're not going to be thinking correctly. So eating healthy is, like, I think, the very first step. But also just having a positive mindset. You can't be going into something or whatever it may be and go into it negative, or have those negative words like "I can't," or um, this isn't gonna work, or just the things that is not gonna work for you. It's not gonna manifest into something positive. So you gotta start changing those words, how you think. um, and I know when you're like first doing this journey of like changing your mindset, it's gonna be a little difficult, but you can't have that mindset, oh, this is gonna be hard. You gotta have like, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna complete it and we're gonna keep moving forward. So I think that's my perspective on it.
All right, famous. I appreciate that. Yes, y'all give me them green hearts. Keep giving them up. And we're gonna go to mind journey.
For me, a healthy mindset is internal and external awareness, but paired with humility and determination. So I definitely personally believe no one can tell you who you are, nor can you control anything outside of you. So we have to do the personal work. You have to figure out who you are and what makes you you. And oftentimes, especially within our community, as Coach said, we're so conditioned to worry about everything external. So we have to take the time to get to know us, because that's going to determine our happiness and how far we can go. Because you have to know who you are to know what you need to be around and what you don't need to be around, what you need and what you don't need, right? But like I said, also humility, because we don't know all things and we have to be teachable. We have to be available to receive also at the same time, and to be determined, because sometimes what you receive doesn't always feel good. Counsel and discipline does not always feel good or taste good. So you have to be determined to work through it and endure to get where you have to go. So just balance.
Love it, love it. All right. And can I get Lala to go ahead and respond to that for me?
What is mindset?
Yes. So,
Help.
what does a healthy mindset look like for you?
Yeah, set mind, having the focus of having a why you're doing something, as opposed to just because somebody told you it was the norm, or because it is written, or is it because it is um, routine for others, or something that belongs to you, your self motivation. Self discipline equals self love equals self worth. Set mind. So I think it's all a big conglomeracy of those things, of how you feel about things on the when you set a goal for yourself, or how you feel about yourself, and staying focused on it. Set mind. That's all I can hear is set mind when you say that.
Hmm. So you like breaking down what you
Etymology.
yes, I love it. I love it. Come with it. Come with it, and come with that fan. All right. So, Coach Sherry, would you share with us what a healthy mindset looks like for you?
You're muted
You
again. You're
you're on
muted.
mute.
No.
No.
Yes.
Wait.
Now, yes.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So, for me, a healthy mindset has a lot to do with your beliefs. And I work with clients all the time that have beliefs and beliefs are developed from the bed that you're bred in. You know, the experiences that you had maybe growing up, the community that you are surrounding yourself with, different types of experiences that may not serve you well on the path that you're on now. So your healthy mindset has to align with where you want to go in your life, be it in your personal life, in your business. It has to match. You have to know that all the beliefs that were poured into you for whatever reason, whatever the situations, may not have been right. You know, there's those facts and fictions, truth and untruths. And those truths from the past may not be your truths for your future. So, in order to have that healthy mindset, you really have to have a conscious effort at it. It's a new habit you have to develop. Your inside voice has to talk to you like you want your outside voice to speak out for you. And so to me, that's a healthy mindset.
Wow. Okay. Awesome. These are beautiful answers. Wouldn't y'all say, chat? Where them green hearts at? Come on, put them green hearts in the chat. Let me know how well these answers are. Because actually, I am serious when I'm saying this. These are beautiful answers. These are heartfelt answers. This is coming straight from us as we are. So when it looks like what healthy mindset looks like to me, is being intentional, right? So being intentional in your thoughts, protecting my peace. Y'all know how I am about my peace. Uh, just not reacting to life, but creating a space in this life that we live in. So not just living, I mean, not just existing, but living, right? Also, it looks more like for me, a healthy mindset feels like it growth is another place where mindset falls, because it's okay to, you know, reset and start over, refocus. And so when you do these things, you know, basically keeping that mindset strong takes real daily practices. So if you want to be intentional about your thoughts, that's going to keep you in line with what you are going to do going forward as it pertains to your health. Protecting your peace, protecting my peace gives me um, the the wherewithal to continue to do so, and go in that direction. Because as soon as my peace is disrupted, it causes, you know, disruption in my life and can cause disruption all across the board. And so not and cause the healthy mindset to kind of go out the door, cause you eating, cause you to overeat, cause you to overthink, cause you to stress, cause you these things that cause issues with your health. So keeping my peace intact is definitely number one for me. And honestly, keeping that mindset, as I mentioned, is a real daily practice. So let's talk about next some habits and tools that help keep us grounded. And we're going to start it out with Lala.
Habits and tools. Meditation,
Mhm.
prayer, habits and tools to keep us grounded. That's one of my top ones. Habits and tools. Having you a schedule in place. This is what I'm gonna do no matter what. These are just like you brush your teeth in la mañana. I know. Please, Lord, I hope so. That you're consistent in doing something, then habits that some other consistencies. Agua, you do your meditation. If I want to start from sunrise all the way to sunset, I would say thank you so much for my return and allowing me to be here. Gratitude, and then, drink some good stuff, do a little movement. So, meditation, movement, mindfulness are my my top three. I can go on and on and on about habits, but can I just list my top tres,
Yes,
or do
yes,
you want me
yes.
to?
Loving it, loving it, loving it, loving it, loving it. And we're going to stretch it over to Mind Journey. What's some habits and tools that you have in place?
Might be a little repetitive on this one. So definitely same thing with meditation and prayer. That's top. Definitely feeding that spirit every day. It is a must. Also, daily check-ins with myself. So just that daily assessment, right? Not allowing the day to carry us away because we have a million things to take us away. Okay. What, as Queen says all the time, the plantation is always calling. All the time. So I think the system is designed to keep us so busy and on that track all the time, but it's not the priority. It's just absolutely not the priority. I believe that we are the actual asset, and you have to prioritize your number one asset, which is yourself, because if you're not here to be able to take care of your family, then what, right? So, it's not all about what you do when you leave the house, but what you do before you leave the house. So that's it for me. There was something else that was big. Oh, once again, back to being aware of outside. A habit is making sure that I check in with myself no matter where I am to see how I need to respond. Because sometimes you need to exit left to protect your energy. So that also a habit of always checking in with me no matter where I am to make sure I'm doing what's best for me.
That's awesome. I love it. Coach Sherry, share with me.
Not again.
She got to mute and unmute.
Now,
They just
Yeah.
don't want you to be great.
it is like
No,
this.
it's okay.
Trust me, it's a good.
You are great, so
It's not
you don't need this
okay.
to make you great.
Right. And my mouth is big enough that you could probably read my lips. So
I was reading your lips.
see, see, but it might sound a little repetitive, but it's the truth. Just having that real relationship with God, speaking to him every single day, all day, regardless, being thankful for everything, the good, the bad, and the indifferent, and knowing that even if it is bad, coming out on the other side, because if you make it to that next moment, that next day, and made it to that other side, you're going to be better for it. Having that testimony, understanding that every single test, every day is a testimony that's going to make you better and someone else, but also being present, being in the moment. A lot of people don't know how to do that. Their mind is wandering. They're thinking about the next thing. They're thinking about what just happened, and they miss so much because they're not fully focused and present. And I might be toggling to my iPad over here because I'm live on my channel too, but I am right here right now. I'm not thinking about anything. And so that's a skill that really takes effort to develop. And once you have it, you'll have so much peace. You'll be so grounded. And that's when you have those conversations and everyone thinks they're the only one. It's like dating multiple people in your younger years. I've been married for 30 years, but dating multiple people in your younger years and everyone thinks they're the one. Being that focused and present for that moment is important. I'm not advocating doing that, but I'm just saying. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about a friend. So, yeah, put the fan out. Bring the fan out.
I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about a friend. All right, Coach. You up, Coach?
Somebody else. So before I answer, I just want to acknowledge what Kendi K said. She said, "No God, no peace," or "No God and no peace." That is a bar.
Hey.
Bars all day.
Yeah.
So for me, every morning when I wake up, I like to thank God that I woke up, right? And then I thank God that I can get out of bed, that I can put one foot down and then the other, that I have thoughts and I'm able to actually speak out loud. Like those things we take for granted. So just always having a feeling of gratitude and not taking anything, even the ability to breathe on your own, for granted. I think that's so important, and it helps to center me. I talk to God all day long and I try my best to listen. Sometimes I'm not obedient all the time, but I try my best to be obedient to what he says. Like I try, I'm intentional with that. And then I'm pretty sure you can guess what another daily habit is for me. Come on, you guys know what I'm gonna say.
Fitness.
Working out.
Mhm.
That is a daily habit. I don't care if you do 5 minutes of something, moving your body, daily movement. When you move your body, you automatically feel better. It's just a thing. You just feel better. Just think about anytime you work out after the fact, all of a sudden you feel like you can move a mountain, right? Am I the only one? You feel like that too? Anybody? So definitely working out and being intentional. Those are the things that are daily habits for me.
Awesome, awesome. And rooted.
So for me, daily habits, you know what I'm about. So essential oils, those are like my very first thing. When my alarm goes off, I have a diffuser alarm and it will put out lemon scent of essential oils. And that helps remind me to be thankful. And I
Mm.
will say it every time I put one foot down, I'll say thank, and then the other foot, you. And it just helps ground me. And it just reminds me too to like just be grateful for what I have. I also am into fitness, so doing fitness daily is another one of my favorite things. Um, I like to go for walks. I like to do time blocking, so carving out time for me
Mm.
for at least 10 minutes. Even if I don't have like more than 10 minutes, I will take 10 minutes out of the day and just sit in silence. No phone, no TV, nothing. And I just sit and reflect on what has happened, what hasn't happened, and just be with myself for at least 10 minutes. Or if you have more time, do longer. But it does help. And it's a great thing to do. If you can't sit with yourself, then I don't know what to tell you. Something's wrong. Something's definitely wrong. But try it. Try it. See what it will do for yourself. Sit with yourself for 10 minutes, and I'm sure it will help with something in your life. But yeah, those are my three.
Awesome. And you know what I want to just point out real quick, everyone. If anyone notices that everything that's being said is kind of repetitive as Mind Journey spoke. And that's because these are real things that really help you um tools that can, help keep your mind strong. So, of course, I'm going to go ahead and share with you some of the things that tools and habits that I do to keep my mind strong as well. And of course, top of the list is practicing gratitude every single day. Being grateful, not just being grateful though, but being intentionally grateful. And it's a difference. It is a difference. You could say, oh, I'm grateful because I did this or I did that. And, it could be a general statement. But when I say be intentional, make sure you're not saying you're grateful for things that you really don't even want in your life. Because sometimes we do that. We say things like, oh, for instance, I'm just going to put it out there. Oh, I'm so grateful for this, for this job that I have, when really that's not the job that you would have if you be necessarily be grateful for. You want to be grateful for what you have, but you want to be grateful and focus your intentions on what you really want to have in your more of. So when you show gratitude, you're going into something that you want to have more of. And then also my other one is staying connected to my why, remembering why I do what I do, why everything that I do is the reason that I do everything that I do. And doing that with intention. Everything I think about and do, I try to do it and be intentional about it, because if you're not focused on it, you can always, your mind is quick to sway off, and you could just be saying things, and it doesn't have any meaning behind it. You could just, just be uttering words, and it doesn't have any intention behind it. It's just not going to move. So meditation is definitely top on my list. It goes along with gratitude, right? And y'all know I like to find me a place of peace. No matter what, I have a place where I can meditate. As Rooted just mentioned, just turning off the TV, turning off the phone, putting it down, put it face down. It's the big stress reliever. Then you got movement, right? Then movement is huge. Coach Mean Reen talking about movement, it's real. I hear her all the time speak about how, she don't want to do it and she don't want to do it, but when soon as she do it, she feels great, right? So I'm all about the movement. Walking has been, I call my walking a meditation in itself, a walking meditation, right? And then speaking life over myself is the other tool that I do. I speak life only into my existence, right? Speaking things that are only positive towards me, meaning an example of that would be, instead of, we quick to down and criticize ourselves and be down on ourselves, but sometimes that is enough life to put into you, because it gives you a foot, some fire up under your butt to do something a little different. So we don't always have to be, so permissive and so graceful with ourselves, but we can speak life over ourselves and be honest with ourselves. And that's another tool that I put in place. And then building community and real conversations that keeps my spirit filled is definitely something that's, you know, that is one of those tools that I use. And that's why I created, again, I want to keep coming back to this. This is why I created this platform that I have right here, because y'all have to understand that, um, you know, having a reason for having a conversation is more purposeful than just talking. And if they went over your head, I'll say it one more time. Just talking is not really having a conversation if it has no meaning. Okay. So what we're going to go ahead and do, though, but with all these practices that I say I put in place and that they put in place, if you listen to them, they all sound similar. And this is why collective building helps the collective, because we can see that we are on the same mindset and we have the same way that we look at things. Life sometimes will check you, and so you have to rebuild your mindset from the ground up, and that's okay. So just think about those things that you do, right? So let's get into a time when that happens. What is a moment that you had to rebuild or shift your mindset? And we're going to start that off with Coach Sherry. And you on mute.
But you can't hear me. You.
We could. Oh, okay.
Okay. So, it was in 2009, and I found myself. I had to stop my world. My entire family, my husband, my kids. We stopped our world. My mother had been diagnosed several months before that with ALS, which is Lou Gehrig's disease. And my parents were very fortunate to have had their own business for 40 years, and they retired to my father's hometown, which I never thought they would retire, but they did. They sold their business and retired to Virginia, a very rural part of Virginia. And I stopped my world to care for her. But caring for her was like having a premature baby. She was, it was unexpected. She had went into respiratory failure. ALS, if you don't know, it kills your body, but your mind stays the same. And you literally lose the access of using your hands, your legs. You lose the ability eventually to be able to speak, to be able to breathe on your own, swallow. And so my mother got to that point real quick, overnight. And so she had a respirator, she had, a ventilator, feeding tube. She could still walk, though. They would have probably told us she couldn't walk, but you know, as her primary caregiver, I made sure her feet touched the ground every single day. I was in the hospital with her, stayed overnight in the ICU for 6 straight weeks. Just came back to Charlotte to attend my son at the time was graduating from 5th grade, to attend his graduation. Never expected to be in Virginia for a long period of time to be her primary caregiver, but I absolutely was for 3 years. And so the first day that we brought her home, you know, I don't know if you were familiar with a ventilator and the fact that that's what is keeping that person alive. And I'm business all day. I'm business. I'm not medical. I'm not science. But I had to learn how to care for my mother's ventilator. I couldn't pay a nurse enough to come in and help. I said I would go to the hospital. I'll pay you $100 an hour to come and help me take care of my mother. I went to home health care agencies and said, I will send the respiratory therapist that trained me to train your staff. And no one wanted to touch it with a 10-foot pole. My parents, like I said, owned their own business. They had, financial means. We had financial means. They had great health care. That would pay for all of that, but they just would not do it. And so I just remember one day, hearing my mother's ventilator beeping. So I'm rushing to see what's going on. And I remember just pausing for a second though. And I looked up into the sky and I was like, God, is this what you have for me? Because, I had left a robust career. I was subject matter expert. I was being written about in magazines, being booked for speaking engagements. A lot was going on, and all of that had to halt. And I was like, God, is this what you have for me? And I had to make a mind shift change. That wasn't all that he had for me. No, I couldn't leave her side, but I was able to, at that time, and this is 2009, develop a group coaching business where I coached women all over the country virtually. And this was with WebEx. Before WebEx was, you couldn't see them, you can hear them, and they had a platform where you could message, kind of like the chat is doing. And I would coach them, I coached them, every week. I was able to carve out some time to do it. I developed that business. After she passed, I joined the Chamber of Commerce. I also, while she was still living, was able to get businesses hire me to do their marketing coaching, to their marketing platforms and, just different things with marketing for them, nonprofits and small businesses. After she passed, I was able to host classes at the Chamber of Commerce. I ended up becoming an adjunct at the Community College for Workforce Development and Continuing Education. Did some amazing things, spoke to the governor, was an advocate for ALS, still am. And that had my mindset shift from woe was me, is this all it is, turned into something so amazing. What I did in caring for my mother was the hardest thing I ever had to do. It was the last life lesson that she gave me, because growing up, my parents always told me I could do anything. My mother, if someone said, oh, my head hurts, I probably need brain surgery, my mother would say, oh, my Sherry can do that. Like just the most ridiculous things that she would think I could absolutely do. And I would be like, Mom, what are you talking about? Like, I can't do any of those things. But then, I stopped saying that, and hearing her say it all the time, I was able to do everything, but I didn't fully believe it until I became her primary caregiver, doing something I never in a million years thought I would ever have to do, and doing it well, and making sure that the life that she lived had meaning every single day, even though it changed as her dis-ease developed and progressed. I always made sure every day that her feet touched the ground. I made sure that on the nicest days that we were able to get out and she was able to get sun on her body. I would take her out for rides, just still living life. It was just amazing. And I thank her for that last life lesson. She passed away when I was 40 years old. So, whatever age you are, know that the biggest lessons that you're going to learn are still yet to come. And I know mines are still yet to come. And I learn new lessons all the time. But that one right there, just shifting my mind and developing, even in the midst of, and realizing that everything is possible and that you really can do anything you put your mind to. Absolutely, you can. People would always say, "Oh, Sherry, you should be a nurse because you're doing a great job." No, I shouldn't, because I could never do this for anyone else but my mother. And,
I
and
know
at any
that's
rate,
right.
if I was to be a nurse, I'd be a doctor first, because they're the ones that really call the shots. But yeah, so that was my moment.
Wow. That is amazing. I knew where you were going with that when you started telling the story, that something in that story was going to be what was the mind shift for you. Um, Definitely, I know what you mean when people tell you, "Oh, you're a great nurse. You're great this. You're great that." You're like, "Nope, I'm good. I'm good on that."
Uh-huh.
So definitely, I definitely can relate though, sis, about taking care of your mom. For sure. Uh, Now, my next person who I'm going to have tap into that is going to be Lala.
I'm still shifting my mind.
You still shit.
Give me a second. I'm still how can I follow that? I'm still my mind's still shifting. That's all I can say.
That's all you're gonna say?
I'm
A
in a
moment when you had to rebuild or shift your mindset.
I feel like I'm constant. I feel like I'm in a constant reset every day. It's madness, I tell you. Um, every day, all day and day, consistently shifting my mind.
Mm.
Um, let's see. Being in a being a single mom put me in a place to where things things have to keep growing no matter what, and whatever choices that I made in the past have made me who I am today. So coming to a place where I forgive myself and still love myself is where I grew into that, coming out of like a separation from my husband, and then being a single mom, and then juggling all of the things, constantly juggling, and having to be that support for me and my babies shifted me into, okay, it's not just me anymore. Just shifting into motherhood put me in a different place. I don't know what
Motherhood will change you for sure.
motherhood, yeah,
For
shifted.
sure. For
Adding
sure.
more people, putting more people in here.
And look, this is what I'm gonna call on Rooted next. Go ahead and tell us, Rooted. Thank you for sharing that with me, Lala. Sharing with us, I should say.
So I could pick two, but I'm gonna probably go the family route, and I'm gonna say becoming a father overnight, because if you don't know my backstory with my son, he's actually my nephew. And long story short, my sister had fell off. His biological father had passed, and my husband and I stepped in, um, because we seen where they were living, and it just wasn't a good environment for a newborn to be living. So we stepped in, and that whole mindset of just becoming a parent, I never wanted children. I didn't plan on having children. And my husband, he's had children. His children are older. And he said, if you want to do this, I got you, and we can do this together. So with him being on my side, I knew we could do it, and I knew I could, like, follow and trust what he was doing and what he's been through as a father. So I knew we could do it. But it was just that whole mindset and the whole process of adopting. Like it was a lot. And um, I don't regret anything that I've done. Um, it's definitely grown me as a man, as a human, as someone to care for another small
Hmm.
young child. And it wasn't easy. There's been a lot of downs. I've definitely learned a lot in the process, but the whole mindset of just becoming a someone to depend on you, someone to rely on you, like that took a lot, and it's still a lot to this day. But I've grown to, I don't know, be that father figure for my son, and I call him my son now. He actually called me dad and my husband daddy, so he did that on his own, and we've had him since he was like 6 months, and he is 7 now. So it's been a long journey.
Wow.
And I love every aspect of it. It's, as I mentioned before, it's definitely have me grow in a lot of areas that I never knew I needed growth, and I love it. I love him. I love my family, and that's why I'm wearing the shirt, family vibes, because yeah, we family here. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And if y'all pay attention to the shift in mindset, it all happens with something that happens pretty much to you, around you, in and around. And so, Mind Journey, would you go ahead and tell us about the mind shift for yourself, as far as the moment that you had to rebuild or shift your mindset?
Ooh. So, all right, hopefully I can hold through this one. So, in 2011, I was severely burned in a grease fire. So, prior to that day and time, I was just your typical strong Black woman, I guess, working, moving very fast. Um, I had a 9 to 5. I was in school part-time. I had a side hustle. I was doing hair a couple days out of the week. I was a single parent. Um, also, I was spiritually active in the church that I was going to at the time, several days a week. So just busy, 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 busy. I had went through trauma with losing my mom early at like 13. And I just kicked into survival at 13. It was go and survive, survive and go, survive. And I thought that I was living. I thought that I was living, but I was literally in survival mode. So on this particular day, or I'm sorry, let me go right. The night before, I had decided that I had started to, I guess, I was realizing God was trying to talk to me prior to that, because I kept feeling like, okay, you invest yourself everywhere else. And when that clock goes off in the morning that says you have to be at work, no matter how you feel, you get up and you make it to work, right? Even if you got to get there late, you get there, right? It's like the priority, because in your mind, in my mind, I had to go to work because I have to have a roof, because I have to take care of my kids. So the dollar was the priority, right? And then the roof and so on and so forth, because I had to provide for other people. But the night before, I had said to myself, but sometimes I don't always get up and pray. Sometimes I don't always get up and make it to church. Sometimes I don't always do what I need to do spiritually. So I had decided the night before. I said, oh, yeah, sometimes I was too staying up all night long because I had a lot of hair clients. So I would get off work my 9 to 5. I would come home, cook, clean, do those things for my family. And then after that, it was hair appointments. So sometimes I would be up doing hair from till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday night. So come Sunday morning, I'm exhausted. I don't have it to give. So that night before, I had said, I don't care how I feel the night before. I'm going to get up and I'm going to go the next morning. So I got up, my alarm went off, and I was still tired. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to try to wake myself up. So I went into the kitchen. I had cooked some fish the day before, and my daughter had cleaned the kitchen. But, you know, kids don't typically clean the way you clean. So I caught myself going behind her and cleaning on the stove, half asleep. For some reason, my mind did not say, hey, you're determined to go tomorrow, so cut back your schedule. I felt like I could do it all, right? I can go and stay up all night and I can still push and go. I push and go to work, so how come I can't push and go, and feed myself spiritually? Well, lo and behold, I go and I'm cleaning off the stove, and I must have turned the stove on and didn't realize I turned it on. And there was still, I used to have this like canister where, sometimes you save grease sometimes. I had this canister, and I didn't realize I turned the stove on. I went back in my room, I laid down, and I was tired. So I dozed back off. And I'm like smelling something. I'm like, what is that? I'm like, why I smell food. I smell seasoning, I'm like, what is that? Lo and behold, I open my door and it's like flames everywhere.
Oh my God.
So, at the time, I'm in survival mode still. I'm not thinking of me or anything. I'm thinking at the time, because I had just moved at the time too, and I was in an apartment, and I didn't have renter's insurance yet. So in my mind, I'm thinking, I gotta get this fire out. I gotta put the fire out. I can't wait for the ambulance to come, because Queen kind of knows a little bit about what I know about insurance and all of that stuff. And I'm like, oh, we can't lose everything, and we can't, XYZ. But so I go to try to put this fire out myself to a degree. And I didn't. Well, no, I did, but at a cost. So I burnt up pretty much. I got to the stove and there was a pot. The pot was on fire. I didn't realize that there was grease that had splattered all over the floor. So the pot went up, the flames came down, and that was it. So my face, my hands, my feet, my thighs, my chest, just everything. So I have different little souvenirs, I guess. So I ended up being rushed to the hospital and everything. And the first hospital I went to, they didn't have a burn unit, so they couldn't really help me. I had to be transported to another hospital. And I remember the doctor just saying to me, I was screaming to the top of my lungs, because by then things were setting in. Fire was out, but everything was setting in. And I was like, I'm in so much pain. And he was like, I'm trying to do everything that I can do to help you, but I can't help you. I can't help you because the way that the body works, he said, is designed to protect itself. And when you expose yourself to heat, your skin, it's an organ, it's alive. It shuts down and it says, and I got to protect her, because if I don't, she's going to die, So it traps in the degree of the heat. So what you're going through right now is you are burning from the inside out.
Oh my God.
So he was like, I have to let it take its course. So they were giving me pain meds. I had so much medication in me, it wouldn't put me to sleep. I screamed for a week straight. They tried to put me in ice baths. They tried to do so many things. I asked for to be amputated. I was like, can you just cut it off? And he was like, you don't want me to cut it off. And I was like, yes, I do. Because everything was hurting. And they were just like, no. So I finally get to a point to where I am able to, my body calms down. Sorry, y'all.
No.
My body calms down and I start receiving the medication. You know, everything starts to calm down. But everything is gone. I have first, second, third, all the way up to fourth degree burn. No, first, second, third, fourth, fifth degree burn. Fifth degree burn. So down to the bone. Nerves gone, skin gone, everything gone in some places. So I had to have 2 surgeries. By the time it was all said and done, I had to learn how to walk again. I had to learn how to hold my hands again, to open, close, to be able to just live, just everything again. I made it home at some point. Everybody was safe too, by the way. My kids were safe.
I was thinking.
Yeah, everybody was safe. I took the hit for everybody pretty much. But I got home and I was laying in the bed, lots of pain. Still, I'm recovering, but you know, still in a lot of pain. And I remember looking at my floor, and I'm still a real clean person, kind of a germaphobe a little bit. Those that know. So I was looking at the floor, and there was like paper on the floor, and I couldn't get up to get the paper. I couldn't grip nothing to sweep. I didn't have the energy to vacuum. I didn't have anything. And it was in that moment that I realized I didn't value me. I was willing to sacrifice my own life to save a building. I realized that, kind of reflecting back on what the doctor said about the body being designed to protect itself, so on and so forth. And then that's when I said, I prayed and asked for God to really talk to me. Because for so many years, I didn't know me. I was just here. Just here, just living, just surviving, just day to day, doing what I thought I was supposed to do based on what the world told me. But I had no clue of who I was in any type of way, nor did I value me in any type of way. I valued things outside of me more than I value me. And I just said, just help me be grateful, because for whatever reason, I don't have gratitude. I didn't have gratitude, because clearly I didn't, because I was willing to throw it all away for a building. So that is when gratitude started for me. That is when life started for me, because external things stopped mattering as much at that point for me. I started trying to learn myself, and I won't say trying. I started learning myself, who I was, what my purpose was on this earth, what was inside of me, what I could give, and what my value was. So gratitude, I think gratitude changed my attitude. Because I was grateful for the little things, everything. Past that point, everything mattered to me. Everything. I was grateful for everything. Grateful for the ability to move my hands, to walk, to talk, to just to spend time with my kids. Because I didn't think I was going to be able to do any of that stuff anymore. So just it started with gratitude, and then it snowballed into a whole lot of other stuff.
Wow. Well, sis, what I'm going to say is I'm grateful right now that you're still here, that you're still here, that you with us. And we definitely learning how to deal with things, the mindset, the mindset, the mind shift is definitely not easy when you go through things like that, because you can start to just see yourself in a different light. And I'm so glad you're overcoming. I don't even like to use the word overcoming or overcame, because it sounds like you're somewhere that you can't get from. But I definitely glad that you are moving forward and healing from that. So I mean, you definitely sound like you're healing from that.
Lots
And
of
I'm sending
therapy.
you.
Lots of therapy. I just wanted to say that too, you guys, because please, I know especially in our culture, it's something that's really frowned upon. Please, 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 do yourself a favor. Get you some therapy. And therapists are just like any other doctor, right? You go and it's not a good fit, you go and you find another one.
Find the
but
right
don't
one.
but don't just not do it, because it's necessary. And there were so many things over the years. It's been over a decade now, and there's so many things that I have learned about myself and habits and like Coach Sherry was saying, things that I had adopted as my own, that were never my own, that I never even believed and did not serve me in any type of way. So I was able to work through a lot of that stuff, and now my gratitude is
Yeah, for sure. It does come back to gratitude. And I didn't forget about you, Coach Mean Reen. What's your shift in mindset? What kind of moment that you've had that you had to rebuild or shift your mindset?
Well, before I share, I want to say to you my journey. When you were speaking, you said that you had 3rd-degree burns, you have 4th-degree burns, you have 5th-degree burns. But you are still here.
Yeah.
Ooh, that gave me chills. God bless you. Like, God bless you. And your family and your children, because I know that they also are dealing with the trauma of that. They had to see you go through that too. My God. We live in our own world and our own trauma, and we don't think about I should speak for myself. Other people's what they've gone through. Like, sometimes we think that what we went through is the worst thing, right? But everybody's worst thing is different. Like when Coach Sherry was talking about her mom, I thought about, God forbid I had to go through that and with my mom. And my heart goes out to you too, Coach Sherry, and my condolences to you. And then, I'm sorry, guys. Just give me a minute. Give me a minute. And then when she was speaking, and she couldn't even verbalize everything that she's going through, because that shift of becoming a single mom and dealing with divorce and all of those things, sometimes you just can't even find the words for that. And then famous, and you talked about you were living a life where you never thought you would have a kid, and now all of a sudden you're a dad. Everyone goes through their things, and we have to give everyone space in that way. So I just wanted to acknowledge what everybody shared, because my God, we all go through things, right? So, all right, guys, get ready, because I'm going there. I'm going to go there. All right. So in 2009, Um, in 2009, I lost my only child died. She passed away. She was in, I'm saying I like to say her name, Kimani. Um, she was on vacation with my mom, and I didn't go because of the plantation. I couldn't take off because I was working in the school, and it was like right before school was starting, and I had to be at the school because, all that preschool development stuff, right? So I couldn't go. But my mom was going, so no big deal, right? So my mom and her best friend took their granddaughters on a trip. They went to Mexico. And on that trip, my daughter lost her life. So my mom, don't imagine, but just think of the guilt, the fear, the everything that my mom had to go through being the caretaker when something this tragic happens, right? So I was driving home from work, from the plantation. I'll say what you say, Queen. I was driving home from the plantation, and I get a phone call from my mom's friend. And she just, I guess she wasn't thinking that I was driving. So she just said, there's been an accident. So I didn't even think my daughter. I automatically thought something happened to my mom. And then she uttered those words nobody wants to hear. She said, no, it's Kimani. At that point, I do not remember how I got home. I don't remember anything. The next thing I remember is someone on the phone asking me for my insurance cards. Like, my child is thousands of miles away, okay? My insurance card. So I remember throwing my wallet. Imagine me coming through the door. I threw my wallet at my sister because me, my sister, and my mom all lived together at the time. I threw everything at her and I ran upstairs and started to when you was talking about the heat mind journey, that made me think of that. That's how my body, it felt hot from the inside out. So I just started I didn't know what to do with that feeling. It was a very intense. I would not wish that on anyone. I didn't know what to do. I had no idea what to do. So when I finally got myself calmed down, I was able to hear what happened. So she was in the pool and she experienced dry drowning. So she didn't get submerged in the water, but she inhaled quite a bit of water and she was on a respirator at the hospital. So we immediately start looking at flights, and I was supposed to go out to Mexico first thing the next morning because that was the next flight. The next morning, my dad was going to take me to the airport. So he came to the house and I'm still in rush mode. Okay. I must have threw t-shirts. I don't even know what I threw in that suitcase. Don't ask me. I have no idea. And he came in and he was moving slow. So I'm like, Dad, we got to get to the airport. And he's like, sit down. And I'm like, no, we got to go to the airport. And the way he sat down, I was like, what? Just say what it is. Say it. And he said that she passed away. Of course, I immediately broke down. I ran into her room, on her bed, and I just broke down. Okay. And my dad, he came in, but sometimes men don't really know how to deal with those types of emotions. So he didn't really know what to do. He was crying too. Everybody was broke down at that point. So then I had to go to tell her dad. So I asked my dad to go and pick him up and bring him to the house. We ended up telling him what happened. Okay, so I'm gonna fast forward. That's how I found out what happened. I'm going to fast forward to the worst day of my life, which was the funeral. I if anyone ever, like, you ever come across anyone that has lost a child, please never tell them that their child is in a better place or that they can have another child. There is no consoling a person that has to bury their child, that has to sit in the front row of a funeral and look at a casket with their child, their only child, because I ain't planning on doing that birth again, the only child in a casket. Okay. I my God, like, and at some points, like in those beginning stages, I was just talking to God, like, what am I gonna, like, how am I going to move past this? And then I told you guys I always talk to God. I've always had like a relationship with him where he talks directly to me and I listen for the most part. And he kept telling me, you're going to make it. You're going to make it through this and you're going to have a story. That's what he kept saying that to me. Like, that's what he kept saying to me. So fast forward, after her death, after her funeral, I went back to work. And that school year was an amazing school year for me. I was working as a counselor in the school, and I also was writing plays. So that school year, we got a grant and the children were able to perform on Broadway. So it was an amazing school year, right? And I was looking forward to the next year. At the end of the school year, this was in the height of the recession, budget cuts. I got laid off. So I just lost my daughter and now I lost my job. So it was a pretty low time. Like, I was like, I don't know if I could take any more. Like, I don't know what else can happen at this point. And I was really feeling low. Until I started to think about what I was saying earlier, how everybody has their own trauma. Everybody goes through trauma. Everybody goes through devastation in their life, but it's how you come through it, right? It's how you come through it after the fact. So I could either lay here and be depressed and not live in my truth and not live the way that she would want me to live. Because when she was here, if I would cry or if I was sad, she would say, "Mommy, why are you crying? Be happy." She would say that all of the time. So that's what I do. That's what I do now in her memory, with her in mind all the time. Like, if you've ever taken class with me, you might hear me say, "Kimani, give me wings," when I'm feeling like really tired, because she's with me every day and I live in purpose for her. That's all. Before I start crying, y'all, that's it.
Y'all, I just want to say to everyone, again, I said it. I mean, we going through some things that's definitely given us a mind shift. The fact that we're pulling something out of those traumas, because these things that we're speaking of, this is some, for me, this is some major things. This is not no little things that we're talking about in here today. And for myself, there's so many things that I do to rebuild. I'm kind of on Lala, how Lala's like it's constant. You're constantly, you know, shifting your mindset. You're constantly doing this. And the reason it is because we do have traumas like that. We have things that that come across us across our path that we seem to think that, we may even ask, why is this? But my golden rule is, anytime you seek for something, you shall find it, right? You will find what that reasoning is if you ask and you inquire about it. For me, as it pertains to these same, levels of mind shifts, it's happened on several occasions. So, in 2012, I became a widow, and I have 4 children. My husband, I'm not gonna give a whole bunch of detail because again, I don't like to relive it. It's not someplace I like to go. So, my husband, I have 4 children. Um, Under the age of 18. My son was in college. My daughter was in 10th grade, and my twins were 10. I think that puts you like in 5th grade or 4th grade, somewhere around in there. So, I mean, I have young children and I have responsibilities, and then my husband passed away. So now you got that in 2012 that happens. And I go through a whole 2 years kind of on autopilot where I really don't even acknowledge what has happened to that extent. I just keep going because I have to keep going because I have children and I have a family and I have all these things that I have to do. And it's always about what you got to do. I always got to keep on doing something to keep moving. In this process, though, it wasn't until 2 years later where I even really for real cried, like a real cry, like a down hard, that internal release. And that when I released that, that's when I realized I wasn't good. I wasn't good. I thought I was good because I was doing it. I was doing everything. No problem, no issues asked. But I wasn't acknowledging so many things. I wasn't even acknowledging my children's pain to the extent that
Mm,
it should have been acknowledged. I'm focused on making sure that nothing changed for them, but it
mm,
already changed.
mm,
It already changed. But I didn't see that as the change that it was. I was thinking as long as I keep us in this same state of being and we do the same things and we continue to go the same way, that's how it's that we all gonna be good because mama not gonna let you go let that down. Now let's focus it back. Let's go back 2 years when it actually happened. All I could think of is because he died of a stroke. So the only thing I could think of was that you need to get yourself together because you got to be here for these kids. So I immediately went on to this thinking I had a mindset shift. So this is why I'm telling you that this story, so you can follow me. I thought I had a mindset shift when I decided I'm going to hire me a personal trainer. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to make sure I'm here for my family. I got to be here for these kids. I got to make sure that that they don't have another loss because the reason that this even happened is because we weren't healthy, health mind conscious. We didn't have the right mindset in our family. We did what we did because we did what we did from, as a history of living. We knew that that wasn't the best way. to live, as far as eating the way we ate, the things we put in our body, but we did it anyway. And I knew that over time, how many times I had went on a diet because I want to lose weight. How many times I tried to convince him to go on a diet because I wanted him to lose weight. I want him to be healthy. I want him to feel better. I don't want him to have high blood pressure. I don't want him to have, I'm more focused on what I don't want him to have. And at the same time, I think if I show you and I do it, you're going to follow, but it don't always work like that. Now you're in the process of me doing this. So I hired this coach. I lose almost close to 80 pounds at this time. And I think in that mindset I had at that very time was, I ain't never going back. I ain't never going back. I'm never going to go back to where I was because I feel good. I feel great. And I want to be here for my family. That was always my reason for doing what I did. But because I never truly dealt with his death for real, I went on a whole nother binge of things that I did, which this binge became, I decided that my 9 to 5 was going to be me finding somewhere to go and hang out, because I became this person that I was not even present for my children, because I know now today I did what I did because that was the way that I coped with the loss of my husband, that I didn't have to face my children, because I then started hanging out, going out to the clubs, going out to the bars, going, and I had a schedule. I went from the top of the day. I mean, I would go from the top of the week. Monday was my only day off. I didn't go somewhere. Tuesday through Sunday, I was at somebody's somewhere doing something and hanging out with people that I didn't even know, who could care less about me, right? But that felt good, and that's what I wanted to do. And so that's what I did. And I did that for almost 3 years. So at that 2-year mark, when I decided to break down and I started realizing after he died, I started realizing I still did what I was doing, but I had a mindset shift because I started paying more attention to my children, paying more attention to their feelings, paying more attention to things, but I still wasn't there. I still wasn't there. And so what I'm trying to tell you is, let's fast forward, because that story right there can go on and on and on and on and on, because that was 2012. We're in 2025 and I'm still trying to get it right. So you have to know that this is forever. This is forever. This is forever. You're going to have to shift your mind forever. It's not something that it's going to happen overnight. You know, Mind Journey said, she goes to therapy. I never had therapy. I've been dealing with this kind of thing, this all on my own, and I keep coming back to the realization of things. I'm healing in it because I keep coming. I study myself where I never used to study myself. In 2017, I came to a place where I started to begin to study myself, to see how, or to pay attention. That's why I do everything with intention, right? So to pay attention, I do everything with intention because I want to make sure that I'm not missing something. I call it self-therapy, where you start to dig into things that's going on with you. And this is what I've been doing. And so every time I get to a stagnant place, and and I'm going to shift my mindset. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do something different. And it always comes back to almost a repeat of something. That's that time when you realize that this is your 4th time doing it. You don't ever stop. But when you realize it's that 4th time, that 5th time, you have to realize that shifting your mindset is more than just saying, I'm going to do this today. You have to be intentional about how you're going to do it. So today in 2025, back in 2024, I had that full shift of mindset that I think it was different than any other shift of mindset, because I did some things in my life where I went from just existing to really living, where I went from that I decided to choose uh, peace, you know, and do it and have that peace in my mind and know that what Coach said earlier, and not be feeling guilty about it.
Yeah.
Letting go, of things that I felt, wasn't didn't have any purpose, and not just getting through something, but actually dealing with it. Because we tend to go through something, but we don't actually deal with it. So I feel like dealing with it and sitting in it allows you to heal in a different way because you start to see things. And so it's not about just living differently afterwards, or saying that you're doing something that you're not doing, because a lot of times we'll do that. Oh, I did this. We're in denial with ourselves. Of
Hmm.
a true shift of mindset is truly shifting your mind. One other thing, I like to give Coach her credit where credit is due. You don't even know that listening to all of you here on this panel, I have learned something since I have been um, connected with all of you. I picked you to come on this panel because I see something in you that I know uh, is beneficial to me. So I know others can see it too, right? Um, but when I'm bringing up Coach right now is because she says, I never stop, so I don't have to start all over again. I never
Hmm.
quit.
Oh.
I never stop. And so, do you know her saying that? And she says it often. And if anybody listening to her, she says it often. That one thing that she has said that it sticks into me has started to shift my mindset too. So this is what I'm talking about when you start to. This is how you do self therapy. You find community. You find people who have gone through some things that can help you get to the next place you are, and that's what this panel is about. Listen to these stories and listen to the strength behind these stories, and listen to what came out of these situations. They again, I don't like to use the word overcame, but they went into another mindset. I'm not saying you have to go through something horrific in your life in order to have a new mindset, because all you need to do is just go through something,
Hmm.
period. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't have to be horrific, because you can take the smallest thing instead of waiting for that large thing to come down on you, and use that as your tool to move forward. The diagnosis from the doctor that says you have diabetes, the diagnosis from the doctor that says you have high blood pressure or you pre-diabetic. What about those things? We take those lightly sometimes. We look at those and say, "Oh, that doctor don't know what they talking about," because I was that person. But I'm not gonna harp on that. I know that we can continue on that forever. And I'm just gonna tell you that this is truly what I'm talking about when it comes down to mindset. All right. So as in the part where we're talking about rebuilding, um, I say that you can rebuild from the ground level up, or you can find out where the last place that you actually were doing your best and start from right there and continue
Hmm.
to build up. Because sometimes we want to start all the way back. Oh no, I guess I have to start all over. Not necessarily, because everything didn't go away.
Right.
So that's where I find myself. I find myself in steps. And I keep backtracking, but I come back up. But my backtrack might be only 2 steps this time, where it was 20 steps before. So just think about it like that. So you're always growing. So let's talk about something a little bit different. We're gonna shift gears a little bit. We're gonna talk about how some mantras that we live by. And if you would take me into that, Lala, what are some mantras that you live by, or quotes that you
Action
live?
creates mood. Do something. Do something. Then you're gonna feel like doing it. Do it first. Action creates mood. Don't wait till you feel like it. Do it, and then you're gonna feel it.
Yes, yes, yes. Say it one more time. What is it?
Do something.
Ah.
Do
That's
something.
what I'm talking about.
It
That's
all
what I'm.
comes down to action. You can think about it. You can have all the you still got to do something. You still got to do some action. Faith without works is dead. That's my
There you
mantra.
go. There you go. All right, and then we're gonna have I'm gonna have Coach Mean Reen take me to the next one.
So some mantras I live by a lot. And sometimes I say things and I don't be, it's only in the moment when I start saying things, but the things that I could think about right now is stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Stay ready. Like, you know what I'm saying? And my favorite, this kind of goes with what you were saying before, Queen, is stop stopping.
Yeah.
Stop. I'm gonna say that like mad times. Stop stopping.
Yes.
Stop stopping.
Stop it.
You stop stopping. Okay? Stop stopping.
That's a real lesson for me. I mean, and I guess I
That's
just
so
adopted that
big. It's
mantra.
so simple, but it's humongous. Like,
Yeah.
stop. Like, when you have, like, everybody says, life is life, and I couldn't, and I couldn't. No, no, no. Yes, you can. Figure it out. But if you stop, now you got to start all over again. And it's going to take you like 2 years to start over again. So if you never stop, you never got to start again.
This is true. This is true. This is true. This is true. What about you, Coach Sherry?
So I have. Oh, can you hear me? Because you know how
Yes.
that situation. But that might have to be one of mine. Can you hear me now? No.
Can you hear me now?
Um, I have two, and I'm known in many places for this one in particular, and that is trust the process. I work with a lot of people that are underemployed, unemployed, that are starting a new business, that are so uncertain of, the newness of everything. They feel off balance. They want to quit, just like what Coach Mean Reen was saying. Stop stopping. I tell them to get out of their own way. Don't start and stop, but start and complete is what I always say to them. And trusting the process, that every step of the way you're going to pick up nuggets that's going to help you and benefit you at the end. And the end is really not the end. It's just that one level, because you're always going to be leveling up. So understanding that it's always going to be a continuum until the end of time, until it's the end of our time. We have that huge dash in between our start date and our end date. And so within that time frame, and I actually did a video on it the other day about long, wide, and deep. We don't want to just be a straight, narrow path. We want to be wide. We want to be deep, and we want to be long with it. So, definitely, I hear you, Coach Mireen. I see you. And so, but you really want to have all of that, and so trusting that process along the way. It may go slow sometimes. It may go fast sometimes. It may not do anything sometimes, but it's still happening. It's still happening. And the one that I always see every day, and I keep it within eyesight for me, is to be still and know. Be still and know, because it's for you. And he's ours. We are his. Be still and know.
Let's go. How about you, Mind Journey? What's some mantras and quotes you live by?
So here's a couple. One is happy are those that are conscious of their spiritual need.
Say
So
it one more time.
happy are those that are conscious of their spiritual need.
Mm. Mm.
So many people are just unaware of the importance of it. We're not just fleshly beings. There's so much more to us. And you don't know happiness until you tapped into the spirit part of you. So that's one of my top ones. Another one is be honest in all things. Be honest in who you are, honest to yourself. So that was something that was mentioned earlier. A lot of people lie to themselves. So be honest in who you are to yourself. Be honest with all people, and be honest to yourself about what's around you too. So just being honest in all things. And then the last one kind of goes along with the first one. Um, this one's kind of long a little bit, but it says you have two parts in you, one spiritual, one physical. Whichever one you feed most will rule you, and whichever one you neglect will die. So don't forget to stay balanced.
Yeah.
Woo!
Okay, sis. Now that's some mantras for your. Okay, all right. I don't know if y'all was. I was feeling every last one of those for sure, and I'm gonna be replaying this so that I can get that.
Balance.
I'm
So I
taking
can get
notes.
that and definitely
Balance.
focus in on that. That is what I'm talking about.
Child.
Hmm.
Whew.
Rooted. Give it to me.
So, if you've been on my channel, you know what I love to repeat all the time. And it's something that I stick to, and you can take it in different directions. But I always say pay for your health now or pay for your sickness later. And
Mm.
when I say that, I don't mean just like buying products and getting them into your home. You can take that pay for your health now, meaning like whether it's financially or mentally, you can take that, or you can pay for your sickness later in doctor bills, in your bad habits that you may be creating and never want to switch. There's so many ways you can reverse that. And I love to say that every single time I go live, every time I'm around people, I will say it: pay for your health now or pay for your sickness later.
I love
And
that.
it just sticks. It sticks, and it will resonate with you in whatever aspect in your life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love it. I love it. And so we operating on mantras, and I'm gonna have to give it to my sister Mind Journey. She definitely works in her mantras because those were deep there. Um but mine are pretty simple when it comes down to quotes or mantras that I say. I'll constantly say thoughts become things, so be careful what you're thinking. And I love to love to mention that I am, and I speak these to myself, that I am the alchemist of my own life, and alchemy means transformation. And so, and or converting into, and then everything starts with what I believe and speak over myself. So I'm big about speaking those positive things over myself, and that's just some of the things that I can think of off the top of my head at this very, very moment. But I have a lot of them that I say and that I go by. Um, and of course, I constantly say, "Seek and ye shall find." And that's because for me, if you are looking for something, you're definitely going to get it, what you're
Mm.
looking for, if it's with intention. Okay, so be careful what you're looking for, right? So sometimes we be looking for things and we think that, or we drawing things to ourselves. Um, now, so what we getting ready to do here? Because those are words that we live by, the mantras that we use, and it shows up in our lives too. If that's truly what we do, it shows up in our lives. It shows up. It definitely defines itself. um and it's especially how we care for ourselves. So let's talk about how mindset impacts the health and wellness journey. um let's start it out with mind journey. Mind journey, tell me how your mindset impacts your health and wellness journey.
Um, it's the beginning. It all starts there. So, um, where I am mentally
Hmm.
determines where I'll be physically. So, um, it just has to start there. Whatever that means for me or for anyone else that is headed somewhere. It's the most important part. Nothing else is more important than where your mind is. You know, you have plenty of people that are sitting up right now that what they call them brain dead. They're here, but they're not here. So in order to be present, in order to be productive, in order to be peaceful, that mind has to be together.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, let's go to Rooted.
I'm gonna say mindset. It is the beginning, and for me, like I didn't always have a great mindset. It took a lot of um, self-reflecting, especially I want to say for me when I turned 25, that's when I felt like my mind shift into wanting to do better with health and wellness. But it didn't happen right then and there. It didn't happen until I was like 30, so 5 years later. And it just started with the mind of me saying consistently, like, for instance, I want to stop drinking. I didn't stop drinking until I was 30. So then now I'm putting it out there and I'm saying, I want this in my life. I want this. And then I made those actions happen eventually, but it didn't happen just right away. It started with me wanting to want that change. um, Mindset is huge. Mindset is everything. And I feel like if you can start changing what you were thinking and how you were thinking, then things will start changing the way you want it to in your life. One book that really helped me was The Secret. I never heard of this book until I was once upon a time a bad boy, and I found this book, and it it just spoke to me, and I was like, oh, this makes sense. Mindset is everything. And I don't know, it led from there. It led from there. And look at me now. So if you have never read the book The Secret, I would definitely look at that book. Look at it. Read it. It was the first very first book I ever bought as well. So
Okay. Absolutely. I've absolutely read the book, The Secret, and also have seen the movie. I'm going to go ahead and have Lala share with us how mindset impacts your health and wellness journey.
I do believe mindset is at the top there. Mental wellness. The way we think, it's like we can think ourselves into health, or we can think ourselves into unhealthy. So it starts up here and it's going to affect everything else below. So yeah, that is mindset is very important. Know that it is you versus you. You doing better than the you from yesterday, and you doing what you're doing to take care and watch out for your future self. And know that you have to take care of yourself first so you can take care of others. And that starts with mindset and having your head on strong and staying focused to what is
Absolutely.
best.
Absolutely. Excuse the interruption there. And uh, Coach Sherry,
Your diagnosis is not your destiny. Oh, can you hear
We can
me?
hear you. We can hear you now.
Oh, okay, I have to always do that disclaimer. Or ask that question, but your diagnosis is not your destiny. And I say that, and that has a lot to do with your mindset. I
Hmm.
was diagnosed a couple of years ago with a heart condition that um, they told me is hereditary, but people with this heart condition don't typically find out about it until they've passed away.
Mm.
And I was very blessed to have caught it before it could do, anything to that extent, that I found it on this side. I found it while I'm
Mm.
looking down at the flowers and not up at the flowers. So,
Mm.
um, when I first got that diagnosis, I was in denial. Like, what? Who? I couldn't believe they were talking about me. Like, what do you mean? Like, I work out. I'm an athlete. Well, I don't work out to that extent, but I'm a former athlete, and I had a cardiologist appointment, several years before that. They gave me a clean bill of health and said I was good, and that was just a preventative um appointment. It wasn't because something was going on, but this one, fast forwarding, I started to experience some things that I never experienced before. And now you're telling me I was born with this? Like, what do you mean? How is that possible? So because of it and the symptoms that I was exhibiting, I stopped. I just stopped. I let that diagnosis be the destiny of you can't do anything anymore. And because of not doing anything anymore, things were all around, my entire being was not good. It wasn't healthy. It was, I was starting to see some changes in my entire body. And I'm looking to the doctor saying, I need to live. There's a lot I have to do. What can I do? I'm praying to God, like, God, what is this? How do I go on with this? And I was just trying to figure it all out because, they're talking about three options, open heart surgery, a heart ablation, or medicine therapy. And the surgery piece, I was like, that I just felt like my heart, what do you mean you're going to cut off part of it? Don't I need all of it?
Hmm.
um and so I really modified my life to almost nothing in terms of movement. I would just say I can't do that, or it was just a lot. And then I decided, I'm going to do what I can do. It's almost like reverting back to the things I was thinking to myself, saying to my mother as I was caring for her. We're going to, live life as long as we have it. We're going to do what we can, putting one foot in front of the other, doing the best we can each day. And what I have is, it hasn't gone away. It's not going to go away. It doesn't get better, but it's at a point, and I'm hopeful that, it's under control, but I feel better. I'm doing more. I'm doing things I couldn't do before. I'm doing the best I can. And I had a few videos this past week about this topic. It just came to me that this is why I live. This is why I do what I do. This is why I take care of myself. This is why I am eating better, doing what I can in terms of working out. Bringing back and taking back my energy and doing the meditations and such. It's because I want my future self to be able to look back on this day and say, thank you. Thank you for doing the best you can, taking care of yourself the best you can for me, for today. And I know tomorrow's not promised to any of us. The beauty is on the other side. It is.
Mm.
But while we're here, we have to make the best of it. And so that's why I'm doing the best I can for me every day. And it's not because I want to be here for my children when they have children. I have 3 young adult children. They are 23, 24, and 26 years old. None of them are married or have any children. So yeah, of course I want to see that, but I'm not doing what I'm doing for myself for that. I'm doing it for my future self so that I can get up and put one foot down and say, thank you. And then the next foot down, and then thank you, Lord. Thank you, God, for this day, to be able to sustain myself and to be good and to have that energy to continue to empower others. But if I just sit back and just let myself dwindle, if I sit back and just lay down for that diagnosis. Let that be my destiny. That won't be the thanks that my future self will give me. So that's my story.
I'm absolutely agreeing with that. Like that should actually be um a mantra too. Don't let your diagnosis be your destiny. Come on now. Say it
Mm,
one more time because that is real. Because soon as some doctor tells you, even if that is the real diagnosis, sometimes you got to reevaluate it, right? But sometimes that's the real diagnosis. We live in it and we use it as to almost to the detriment of us, oh my gosh, I got this going on and I can't do this, and you always what you can't do. But tell
Right.
me what it is that you can do. That's what I want to know. For all the stuff that you can't, what is it that you
mm.
can, right?
Yeah.
Come on, coach, bring it in for me. Coach Mean
So the
Rain.
question one more time. I want to make sure I answer it and don't go off on a tangent.
It is how mindset impacts your health and wellness journey.
And my own personal, right? We talking about?
Mhm. 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 I
So
hope everybody see
no,
that disclosure going across the bottom of the screen, but keep going.
it's content of this. Yep.
Oh,
So
right.
my mindset, how does it make me do what I do? Right? Good. So basically, the way that I look at things is you got one life. We have one, this is it. This is not dress rehearsal. We don't get to do it again. Well, I mean, if you believe in reincarnation, that's a whole different conversation, right? But in this body, in this time, in this space, this house that you're living in, that's it. That's what you got. So it's either you're going to keep the house clean, you're going to keep the house up, or you're going to let it get decrepit. It's up to you. That the choice is completely up to you. What you decide to do each and every day is completely up to you. What you're eating, the amount of exercise you're doing, the time, the way that you manage your time and what you prioritize. This is how I talk to myself. It's completely up to you. You cannot blame anyone else. You can't take your body to the dry cleaner and have them work it out for you. You can't do it. Like what you eat, even if you're eating in secret and you telling everybody else, "Oh, I eat healthy, I eat healthy, I eat healthy." But then you in the midnight hour, okay? In the midnight hour,
Lying to
you
you.
going in that fridge, in the back of that freezer, and you grabbing whatever you eating. Your body, it's just you're eating it, nobody else. So you can lie all you want. Your body's gonna know. You can't lie to yourself. You cannot lie to yourself.
You
This
cannot.
is the way that I talk to me. So that's how we keep things honest over here in my house, in this house here. That's how we
Mhm.
keep it honest. We do what we're supposed to do, even when I don't want to do it. And there are plenty of
Mhm.
days when I do not want to.
Mhm.
That's I have a difficult time understanding. Like if you have a medical ailment and you really cannot work out, fine. But I have a really difficult time understanding why we sit on the couch so much when magically your muscles aren't going to get stronger, but you're going to get older. And then as you age, you lose muscle mass. So when you get older, you're writing your own script. You're telling yourself, like when you're 80 years old, that you're going to either be bedbound or you're going to have to use assistance to walk. That's what you're doing to your own self by not getting up and moving that body now. And you can't tell me you love yourself if you're allowing that.
Hmm.
You've got to get up. You have got to get up. Thank you.
Y'all heard that. You got to get up. I want y'all to go ahead and drop those hearts in the chat for me, those green hearts. That y'all should have been doing that the whole time. Every time you heard something that was lightning and thunder and fire. Let's go. They've been really dropping some gems in here.
I
Really
think
some great
we got
information.
too deep on them. They're just staring at the screen like.
Right. I know it did take it took a turn, but you know what? I think that was
No,
the
no,
best
no.
that was the
I
best
think
turn
it's
that it could
good.
have because it's real. That's what this is about.
Yes.
We're not trying to be up in here sugarcoating, trying to sound like we're some professionals and we're going to be telling you
We're
that
trying to
if
save
you eat
lives,
diet
y'all.
and exercise that the world is gonna be. No, we here to tell you the real raw down truth, how it is, and keep it real with y'all. So now for me, how mindset impacts my health and wellness journey. Um, it's a lot of different ways. However, just actually showing up for the journey itself is the first thing. So, if you actually even start a journey and um, and put it in place, that's the mindset for me, right? So that you got a journey. Then when your mind is aligned with you with healing and love and action and so movement, like get up and move. You just heard her say it, like get up and do something, right? When it's aligned with those things, your mindset itself will be um in the right direction. Because when you think about it, health and wellness is not just about food and fitness. It's a whole picture. It's a bigger picture than that, right? Um, it's about you from the outside to the inside. So if you don't look at the bigger picture and have your mindset around that, so mindset plays a part, of course, in the health and wellness because you got mental health, you have physical health, you have internal and external health. You have all these different things that plays a part. So this has been very powerful. I mean, to say the least. I don't know about anybody else. Give me them green hearts. Where is the green hearts at? Come on with the green hearts, y'all. Um, this has been very powerful. It shows how deep of a connection is between the mind, body, and spirit, right? It also um, shows how it's not about how one person does it or the other, but how we come out with similar and or same results from putting these things into practice. So what I will say here is I want to thank each and every one of you for pouring into this space. I want to check the chat really quick and see if there's anything that anybody added or anything that they wanted to say. As a matter of fact, just so I don't have to go through the whole chat, is there anything from the chat that you want to ask anyone in particular? If you haven't, while I'm waiting to see if anybody drops anything in the comments in the chat or any questions for any of the panelists here, I want to say really quickly, if you would, because I know we're all streaming on our own platforms here. Majority of us are. I think all of us are. So if you would, for me, um, I'm sure all of you have moderators. If you would on your channel, ask your moderators to please drop my link in their chat. So if you want to connect with me, you can do so. I'm dropping all their links in my chat, but I don't know if y'all can link it. Can they even reach the links like that? Because I'm not even knowing if they actually can reach the links. Because I would love for you to connect with these brilliant people that I have here on my panel, because this is something that that they're talking about on their channels. These are the things that they're practicing on their platforms. This is the mindset that they carry into their channels. So let's go ahead and get them connected. As again, is there any questions on here for each and every one of you? Let me see here. Give me a moment. Any one of you have any questions? I'm getting ready to drop their links really quick so that we can yeah, I know I got some moderators myself, but I just figured it'd be quicker if I just had them readily available, which I did. So because that's what I did. And so I want to thank, as I'm going through, I'm going to thank you individually here. It doesn't look like we have any questions, but I want to thank you, uh, Rooted in Essential Oils. I want to thank you, Coach Mean. I'm saying it as I paste their links in the chat, y'all. So these are their chats in the order that I'm thanking them and appreciating them for being in this space. Also, I want to thank you, Lala. It's always a pleasure connecting with you for sure. And also, let me see who's next here because my screen moving slow now, y'all. They must say it's tired. Okay, Coach Sherry, thank you so much for your.
No,
Is she on mute again? Oh,
no.
oh,
Oh wait,
Yeah.
I'm
and
looking at Lala with her shades on.
oh, I love Lala. That's why I love Lala. Lala's Lala. Lala gonna be in her world. Okay, Mind Journey. All right. We want to thank you. I thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, each and every one of you. And so, what I want to say to you, as I got all the links right here in the chat, make sure y'all connecting. I appreciate all of you for being on the panel today. Oh my gosh, now I'm starting to talk over my words on the panel today. And what I want to ask you to do here, um, if you have any closing remarks, so we're just going to start from Coach Sherry and go through. If you have any closing remarks, anything that you want to add to this, if you don't, that's fine. If you have something you want to add, go ahead and add that. And make sure that y'all all tapping into their channel, please. And, you know, be awesome. All right. I appreciate it.
Can you hear
And
me?
thank you everyone for having everyone drop my link in your chat. Appreciate it. You go right ahead there.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, perfect. First of all, thank you, Queen, so much for being the visionary for this, for being the host of this panel, and just bringing this idea to fruition. So many people talk about it and they're not being about it. And this was something that came to you. Every week you're having great people or panels, and I really enjoyed Stephanie last week, and I'm looking forward to what's to come for your channel for sure. Being this generous, this collaborative is always a win, so I know blessings will continue to flow. So in departure, I want to say anything dealing with making a change in your life doesn't happen just overnight. It's definitely a conscious effort, and it's a new habit that you're developing, and as you're developing that new mindset shift, you're trying to put away the old mindset that you had. So it's going to be a tug of war for a minute, making sure that your inside voice again is speaking to you in a positive way, making sure that you're really feeling your soul, your mind, your circle of friends might have to shift too. The people that you are around, the things that you read, the things you look at, the places you go. It's a whole thing. It's not just a one thing. Your mind is just a piece of it. And so don't get discouraged when you might say, oh, I had that backsliding moment, because it's going to take a while. People always say, oh, in 30 days, you're going to be good. 60 days. No, it takes 6 months to a year to start developing a new habit. And it's a habit when you're doing it automatically. It's just what you're doing. They call it abundance intelligence. When you can see it, you see that there's a change that you want to make. Maybe people have been telling you, wow, you have to stop talking so negative about situations, or stop putting yourself down. You're doing great. But when you see it, you have to see it. It can't be other people telling you. You have to see it. And once you see it and you own it, you know that I'm ready, because you have to be ready for it. You have to be ready. And once you're ready and you own it, then you start looking for resources. Maybe it might be a therapist, a consultant, a coach. Maybe it is, that trusted Coach Mean Ring, Coach Sherry, maybe it is that person. Maybe it's you just, spending time alone and getting to know who you are. Whatever it is, you have to live it and every day be intentional with it, doing something moving you towards that mind shift that you're trying to accomplish. And again, once it becomes that new habit, that's when you're being it. You're being not only what's inside of you, but it's overflowing outside too. And you're doing it with greater frequency. And that's just who you are at that point. That's what you do. You know how people are doing things and it comes easy to them, and you're like, how they do that? That's just what they do. Coach me Reen out there, exercising, doing stuff I know I can't do, but that's what she do because it's muscle memory. Locked in. Are you locked in or what? And so that's so be patient and give yourself grace and trust the process.
You about to get in trouble, Coach Cherry. She was like, can. I was like,
taboo word.
Or try. Oh. You cannot say can or try with her. That is out.
Okay.
You're going to get in trouble.
That's right. All right. And she caught it just like that. She caught it just like that.
Then she gonna throw in, and are you locked in? Like, I'm like, that ain't gonna even override it. That's not gonna do it. Coach
right, you saw that, right? You saw
that. So just, oh my gosh. So first, I just want to acknowledge and thank everybody here, especially the host, Queen. Thank you so much. Coach Sherry, thank you. Lala, thank you. Famous, thank you. And My Journey. When I get off of this live, I'm going to have to take about 10 good minutes and just sit, like Famous said, with no TV, nothing, and just reflect. Because your story, oh my gosh, like, Okay, sorry. So, real quick, I was gonna say something else, but it's always I like to be in the moment. Mm-hmm. And Coach Sherry, she just said something that triggered what I'm gonna say. So we talk a lot about what we say. We talk a lot about being mindful of what we say. And the two words that I hate, right? I know people hate the word hate, but I hate is the word can't and the word try. Why? They're unassuming words. No, they're not. Because when you say I can't, you are automatically telling your body, don't even bother, because there's no way I'm going to be able to. Mm-hmm. And I cannot believe that, because what would be the point of me being a coach? I have coached people that were unable to do one push-up. They couldn't do a push-up. They couldn't do a sit-up. And they came to me and they was like, Coach, I can. And I was like, well, if you say you can't, you never will. How about let's do it? Let's start from the bottom. Let's start from where you are. And then my job is to help you level up. Mm-hmm. And take that word can't. And I want you to take it and write it on a piece of paper, ball it up, and Michael Jordan right into the garbage. Goodbye. Because yes, you can. It might take time, but yes, you can. You can lose that weight. You can become somebody that works out on a consistent basis. Yes, you can. You can take that sugar and tell it to get out of my face. Oh, yes, you can. Because sugar is the devil. All right? That's what I'm going to end with. Yeah. You see how I did that? Sugar! Guys. I know right now some of you are snacking. You watching this and you like, this is good. And you snacking on that sugar. Let's vow for the rest of the year. We have about 7 months left, 8 months left, around there, 6, 7, whatever it is, however many months. Let's vow that we're going to be intentional about what we're eating.
Intentional.
Mhm.
That's the word.
Look,
Intentional.
and let's look, and I'm gonna alley you bit to Lala.
You can make an excuse to do, or you can make an excuse to don't. It's your party. You have the power. It is. I want you to know that you have the power to do whatever you set your mind to. So if you set your mind to be lazy, that's what we gonna do, right? So set your mind. This is something that I tell my children all the time. If you got this vivid imagination of the future, why not make it something that you actually want? Only ask for what you do want. Ask for what you do want, and eliminate all other possibilities. And that's what's going to come to you, because we are powerful, we are energetic, and we are vibrational. And what we put out there is going to come right back to us. So be careful what you putting out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Be careful.
We're powerful beyond our wildest dreams.
Yeah. True that. So
we do it all the time. We do it all the time.
Yeah, be mindful. Be mindful out there. Thank you, peeps. I mean, oops, I was making a heart. It's a heart.
Yeah.
So you, Famous?
I'm gonna keep it short and sweet, as I mentioned before. Pay for your health now, or pay for your sickness later. And mindset is so powerful, and mindset is a reflection of your thoughts. And if you're thinking bad or good, they're going to come to reality. So just keep that into perspective. Whatever you're thinking, whether it's good or bad, is going to come back to you. So try to think positive. If you start having those negative thoughts, switch it to something else. Change it like that.
Switch that mindset. Mind journey.
So thank you, Queen. I needed this today.
Absolutely, sis.
So thank you. You know, I struggled with this before we got here.
I know we talked.
Yes. But what I will say is comparison is a silent thief of joy. So don't allow yourself to compare yourself to somebody else's journey, somebody else's progress. And don't allow other people to diminish your progress and your journey and what you're doing based on what they're doing or what other people are doing. Don't let people steal your joy, and don't give away your joy by comparing yourself to other people. And that's it.
Y'all know that's true. Comparison is the thief. And I will agree with that 100%. I mean, and I think we might be all kind of guilty of saying, well, what's going on over there? How did they do that? Or what is that? Da, 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 da? How did they, but when you realize that you were good before you knew what was going on over there. And then you were good before you start saying, well, maybe I should be doing that too. So you're right, sis, you're right. And I want you to know you were awesome and beyond. I think you was hyping yourself up in that conversation that we had. I really think you were you putting that in your own mind, because sis, you are fabulous.
Oh my God, you have a story, my friend.
Oh my gosh. I mean, and beyond even what you are even saying that you want to do. You know what I'm saying? You got something else. That back thing, I don't know what we're gonna do with that. But you got more than you know, more than you know, more than you know, and you don't even know who you are touching or who you're tapping into when you're telling your story. So that's why stories, I've always said this, that stories are the real true testimony of what someone else may be going through. I say what you go through, actually physically go through it, but it's for someone else. You know, I think about um the stories that I'm gonna go here. So I think about the Jesus story, right? Where he went through the pain to, to save others, right? We are made in the image of, yes, right? So I mean, just because as you look at this is what's happening. We are literally doing the same thing. We're going through something that is helping and saving someone else
Mm.
on that same level. So just think about that. That's how I think about it. And stuff just come to me. I want you to know I never thought about it like that until this very moment, in this very second, as we were speaking right at this very moment. Stuff just come to me like that, and that's what it did. But it actually made me think of that because I was, I have to make things make sense, and that actually makes sense to me. Now, with that being said, y'all, this here, I want to thank all of you again. This is so awesome. I want y'all to know that, I did not expect it to be 2.5 hours long. I didn't, but we didn't know where it was going to go, right? Literally, it was only 5 questions. It was only 5 questions. Okay, so just so y'all know, I want everybody to know that. Plus a little ad lib at the end where we added the extra. That was it. It was only 5. However, because we had so much insight to give, and this was the first go round, because this ain't the end of this. And you're right, Sherry. This is given to me, and was my envision for this platform from the very beginning, to get with like-minded people and allow it to be a bigger picture than just me. I can say all the stuff I want to say in the world. I can get as many people as I want, but I cannot spread to as many people as we have spread to today. And then it will continue, because now this is on your channel. It's on your channel. It's on your channel. It's on your channel. It's on your channel. And so for all of those that I am not connected to, it will I know it's just a done deal. Who I'm not connected to, they're still going to be able to tap into this. You get what I mean? So this is what this is my vision. This is the vision that I've had. And so this is my baby. I'm about to nurture it. And so with that being said, I want to say this was a powerful build today. I just want to take a moment just one more time. I know I keep saying how grateful I am, because I am. I'm showing gratitude to my panelists today just for showing up. And then I want to do a shout out to Creative Living with Amisha. She wasn't able to attend. She had a fall yesterday. So send out some positive energy to the sister. But she is supporting in the background. So everybody put up some green hearts for Creative Living with Amisha. Send her some love, some healing, some power, however you do it. I tell you, however you show up for people, show up that way. Show up with intention, okay? And then I want to also thank you for sharing from your heart today and helping to create this type of space that we need more of. We need this kind of space, y'all. The space with honesty, growth, and just a healing collectively amongst each other. And so, for the most part, this is what Queen's Alchemy is about, y'all. This is it. This is we now touched down. We done put our feet to the ground, and so this collective build in Queen's Alchemy. This is what I'm talking about. We're not just having a conversation. We're not just building. We're not just having, I told you we gotta have something to talk about. So we're building something real. We're building something lasting. We're starting with the mind, and then we're gonna floor each part of our lives, right? So that's why this is not the end. This is just the beginning, because the mindset is what's gonna take us to the next level. And so to everyone who tuned in, I want to thank you too for being a part of this and putting your energy on this, because I appreciate each and every one of y'all being here. And remember, these are not just conversations. They need to be planted. They're seeds that we're planting as we go along. We're dropping a seed. We're dropping a seed. Y'all know I love about some seeds and some gardening, y'all. And when you water them with intention, my favorite word, intention, action, and with community, that's when the true transformation happens. If you enjoyed today's panel, please make sure you connect with my amazing creators. You heard from them today. You see what they're about. This platform is a true extension of the work. Their platforms, I'm sorry, is a true extension of their work. Each one of them brings something unique and invaluable to the collective. And that's why we're having this collective build, because each of them are unique. And I told you before, this is just the beginning. So stay tuned for more collective bills coming to you. As a matter of fact, the next bill we're going to do is called Fuel and Flow. And if y'all know what that means, that's nutrition and movement. And I know it's a lot of us up in here talking about nutrition and movement. So let's get it. And if you would like to be a part of the build and you have something that you want to add, reach out to me by email in the description on my channel or even on this live today. And just know that this was just the beginning. So I can't wait until next time, which will be May 24th at the same time, 6:22 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And maybe we'll see some of the same faces, but we definitely will be in the same place. And also, I want you to tap in. Also, tap in. Um, for my upcoming collab and grow, because y'all know I do a little everything over here. Um, Tap into my next collab and grow. Who I have up next is my brother's Stash Cash this Wednesday, April 30th at 7:22 p.m. Check it out on the community post. It'll be up there soon. Also, I have out right now, I'm going to be a guest and being interviewed on Tampa's Creek Homestead and More on the 28th, which is this Monday. So make sure y'all tap in at 9 p.m. I do have it out there. Y'all can go ahead and click it in as a reminder so y'all can tap in and support. Until next time, though, I want each and every one of you to take care of your mind, nurture your spirit, and keep building intentionally. Much love, peace, and light to you all. And I want you all to have a beautiful night. Thank you for being here and take care. Peace and love. Okay.